That is such a good question. I love that. Wow.
I was chased in the chat room, talking about.
It's the hardest part about being in a band.
Absolutely the hardest part. Absolutely.
It's at least the hardest part about starting a band is naming your band. Basically, one night I was at a party and I knew we had like a meeting amongst the four of us like the next day. We were kind of like, we have to figure it out tomorrow. So at the party I was like, what should we name the band? And the party was at Charlie Bliss's house and everyone was like, name it after Charlie Bliss. It was never supposed to stick.
No.
We certainly went through like, tug of war with that name. We like hated it for a minute and then now, so glad we never changed it. We love our band name, but it's just really funny.
Yeah.
Like it was weird. We had a really hard time
Yeah.
picking a name.
Everybody knows you're the second.
A Charlie Bliss song isn't a Charlie Bliss song until the four of us have all had our way with it and have all played it together. So, whether that happens in the early stage or in like the final stage, we always kind of all have a hand in the writing, but usually like a song will start with either Sam or I coming with a demo, and then we kind of flesh it all out together as a group from there. We're opposites.
I feel like, it's funny, even I write super differently, like complete opposite. When I approach songwriting, it's, usually totally melodic. Sometimes it'll be a demo that has the full structure and melody over it, totally completed. Sometimes it's just an idea. It's funny, and I think it's really great because it's super complimentary that Eva is so lyric focused and also writes amazing melodies.
I always have like whether it's like a notebook or like the notes app in my phone, I always have like a running list of like lyrics that I've thought of, and it's usually just like one line. So yeah, it's usually like lyrics first and then the lyric informs the melody and then I go back.
Definitely half of it is going through your voice memos and I remember when I had that idea, let's flesh it out. And then there were days where you'd be like, I need to wake up and write a song, like because we need some more songs. So definitely a balance.
Definitely a balance. But I find that when you are, for a long time I just believed in the muse, the oh my god, I had an amazing, I was struck by lightning. And I just believed in that and nothing else. But I actually think now that they complement each other really well because I've found that the more that I'm writing, the more I have those moments. Songwriting requires you to be very vulnerable, and they all will always kind of feel a little bit precious to you, and there is a lesson to be learned of being able to say like, I'm really proud of this, but it's not serving this record, or maybe we'll come back to this in a couple of years or whatever, and kind of be able to let go.
It is kind of interesting how when you are experiencing writer's block and you try to write, I feel like you do come up with ideas that are different from what you would normally kind of come up with, which I think is cool. And
even if 90% of what you wrote, because you're like forcing yourself to write, is bad and just dumb and just like getting ideas out, there's almost always like one thing you put in there, whether it's like a lyric or a turn of phrase or a melody, something like that you go back to and you're like, oh, I could put that, like later on I could put that in something else. But yeah, there's sometimes it's harder than others.
But he knows you're the second coming.
I just think no matter what happens, no matter what fight we get into, it's always going to be okay because we're family.
We've been friends since we were in middle school, so at this point I would count both Dan and Spencer as family members as well. So and being in a band, you're constantly, whether it's through songwriting or through touring, you're constantly being put in situations that are uncomfortable and constantly changing and dramatic and stressful, and I can't imagine touring or being in a band with people that I didn't feel this close to.
I feel like the two of them have like this weird synergy where like if something goes wrong or we're in a stressful situation or something, the two of them just like, it's just a call to action and it's like a Wonder Twins moment and it's insane to watch. It's crazy.
What do we do that drives you nuts?
I don't know. They're perfect. Everything in common. Good answer.
I would probably say, which was a huge inspiration for one of the songs on the album, I would say All My Friends, LCD Sound System. I actually went to their shows when they had a residency at Brooklyn Steel, And just like experiencing that song, I was like, I wish I wrote that song. So like, let's go write a song that's kind of like that.
Maybe like a Charlie XCX song. I just feel like she's really good at writing these songs about like feeling this like massive, like just songs that create like massive release. But you know, also like every Lorde song on Mic Drop, and like, you know, every Taylor Swift song.
I think I agree with you. Like some like pop song like Charlie XCX or Taylor Swift, like just like distilled pop songs that are just like perfect.
Yeah, like a perfect banger.
I don't know, like God Only Knows. I feel like you can't.
Oh, good answer.
I feel like that song's hard to beat.
I think we've just grown up a lot as people. I think that, you know, your music matures along with you. And our most recent album, Young Enough, I feel like is just such a testament to that. I think it's an album really about perspective and kind of learning to be more and more comfortable with yourself and who you are and what you've been through. And I think that something that's so wonderful about making music and having albums out is that they're just kind of like these markers of your own growth that you can kind of, sort of like reading an old diary, you can kind of go back and be like, wow, we would never do that now. But I'm proud that we did it. I'm proud that we, you know, worked really hard to put that album out or, you know, make that EP or whatever it was.
Personally, I would say the song Young Enough. I feel like on Guppy, we were writing these 2.5 minute, like, verse, chorus, maybe a bridge, back to the chorus.
Yeah.
We really wanted to push ourselves, and especially on that song, you know, push ourselves structurally, arrangement-wise, lyrically, and I think even though it was a really difficult song to kind of finish, definitely was super rewarding and makes it even more rewarding to play it live. It feels like a real moment in the set.
You know, usually at a Charlie Bliss show, which we love, everyone is like going nuts and dancing and jumping up and down and screaming along. And that's, you know, obviously one amazing way to participate in a live show, but it creates, this song Young Enough kind of creates this other moment in the set where people are standing still and they're silent, but they're like locked in with us, and that feels like a totally different but really like electric
I remember the
energy.
first time we played it, people were kind of like standing still, like you said, and I was like looking up, I was like, are people just like really not into this? And then the song ended, everyone was like, it was cool. Yeah.
Be really motivated and don't be afraid to try anything, and in that sense don't be too hard on yourself. I might not have ever really tried to pursue being in a band because I felt like I came into songwriting late, I felt like I came to playing guitar late, and I just feel so lucky that I had bandmates who would always encourage me to do things that I didn't feel like I was ready to do in front of people yet. Another big one is utilize the internet. I booked our first tour as a band, and the way that I did it was I picked a band that I really liked that was sort of like not so far away from the level we were at, and I just stalked all of like their tour dates and where they had toured, and then I just hit up all of those venues myself. We didn't have a booking agent yet, and I just harassed them until they gave us shows, and it works.
Oh, wow. Otter.
Wait, that's mine.
Just always been that.
I'm gonna say Baby Tiger.
Nice.
I'll say a koala.
Oh, you
French Bulldog.
True.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the most accurate one for sure. I feel like you would be like a jalapeno popper.
I probably would be. I was gonna go just like pick my favorite appetizer, but I don't think I am like a piranha.
No. I'm gonna go pizza bagel.
Yeah,
Pizza bagel,
that's
because I
very
feel
good.
like, well,
Where can you get that appetizer? Mom's house.
I'll have the pizza bagel.
You don't go to
garçon.
I'd be a buffalo chicken dip.
Oh.
whoa, like that. You got layers too.
I'm gonna go with a pot sticker.
Nice.